everybody, it's Melissa. We are talking about sexy spring fragrances on the masculine side, but two very important things that I gotta tell y'all I'm excited about. The first thing is that Parfums de Marly released a new fragrance called Perseus, and your girl might have gotten her hands on a bottle of it. I haven't opened the box yet. I have a feeling it's Perseus, but I'll let you know, okay? So very excited because it's supposed to smell very fruity, fresh, almost Elysium-like. That's what my followers have been telling me. But who knows? I'll keep it real with you. The second thing is that there's an up to 79% off retail, designer, and niche sale that is happening right now. If y'all want to check it out, the fragrances that I'm going to mention are a part of the sale. At least a majority of them are. So whether you're new to this hobby and you want to get a really nice designer scent like a YSL or a Versace or a Paco Rabanne if you want to party it up that way, or if you're a niche head that likes Kilian, Creed, Bond 9, then it's also a no-brainer there as well. So I'll put the discount link and a discount code for an additional 10% off if you want to check it out, pinned in the comment section below. And complete transparency, that is an affiliate link. So please buy where you're comfortable, because if you do make a purchase off that link, I do get a slight bit of commission. I know some people don't really like that. So do with that information as you will, whether you want to do it on another page or if you want to support the channel. Either way, I just thought I would let y'all know about it. And the sale ends Sunday, March 17th at 11 p.m. Eastern time. So for all the West Coast people, that's going to be 8 p.m. All right. So stay alert for that. But let's get right into this video. I am going to mention Lenu Delom by YSL. You might be thinking, why are you going to mention this? It's more of a date nighttime fragrance. But for all of you that have been subscribed to my channel, you know that I have worn this all seasons, all sorts of occasions, to tell you that this thrives in the springtime. It's not gonna be nauseating. It's not gonna be cloying. It's not gonna be overly sweet when you wear this even in 70-degree weather. In fact, I feel like there is a version of this fragrance when you wear it in warm weather that brings out some layers that you're not gonna get when you just wear this at nighttime when there's no sun to kind of heat it up. You know, and of course, you can heat it up other ways, body heat, whatever, but Lenu Delom smells so good in any sort of nighttime event, but also if you were to wear this in the spring. Now, this is for the people that want a sexy signature scent. Point blank, period. All right. If that is exactly what you're looking for, you're new to this hobby, that's exactly what I did when I first started, and what I wanted in a fragrance was just something that would smell good. So I blind bought this scent and absolutely no regrets. I know that there isn't much of a dent in it in comparison to other fragrances that y'all might have seen me talk about, but that's because this was the very first one, and then the need when you get bit by the fragrance bug to just continually want to smell new things and experiment with different things appeared. But Lenu Delom is a cardamom fragrance, so it has that spice. I believe there's also vetiver in the dry down, but again, if there's one word to describe this fragrance, it's sexy, okay? Some people do find it, at least some guys that have told me, they thought it was a little bit, they didn't think it was as masculine as they wanted it to be because of the sweetness, but I do find this fragrance to be fairly masculine. I think that's kind of an outlier opinion, still a valid one, of course, because it depends on your skin chemistry, but really good. Downside to Lenu is that the performance is not the best for a lot of people. I'm not sure if the bottle I have is an older version, because I did 3 sprays of this fragrance the other month and it lasted on me over 7 hours. Again, that was on clothes though, but I could still smell it just wafting in and out throughout the day, even past that 7-hour mark. So for me, this does perform well, but for y'all, if you are worried about performance, I would just recommend getting the bigger bottle of it, like the 6.7, and overspraying it. Because I've stepped out with 17 sprays of Lenu Delom. I've been perfectly fine. It didn't choke me out. It didn't choke out other people. But again, I was outside that night. I wasn't indoors or whatever. So you have to kind of just do some cognitive thinking about where you're going to be. All right, the next fragrance, Lafayette Street, Bond 9. This has been such a hitter ever since it came in my collection. Dang, even the sample that I have of it, I could finish it off, right? But I didn't, because I was waiting for this bottle to come in. So now I can finish off that sample. But Lafayette Street is a very good professional fragrance, but it works really well in casual settings too. So Lafayette Street is an appley and Broxton fragrance. On me, I get a bit of a gingery vibe from it also. Maybe it's just how it plays on my skin. And then in the dry down, vanilla is listed, but I was also getting a little bit of amber. I don't think amber is listed, but here's what I'm thinking. I'm assuming that it's probably the tonka bean mixed with the vanilla that's kind of giving me a little bit of an amber smell. Because sometimes amber can smell just a little bit powdery. So that's at least the connection I'm making in my head. Could be wrong about it, but the main important thing to take away is that Lafayette Street is such a banger. It's the type of scent that if you were to blind buy this right now, let's say you went to go get it, you bought it, you weren't really a fan of it when you wore it, but you stepped out in it anyways because you didn't want to scrub it off your body, you would get complimented on this fragrance still. Super lovable, very mass appealing, very high quality as well, and really not the type of fragrance that you are going to be smelling on anybody else. And that is kind of what is like the sweet spot for me, is wearing a fragrance that everybody loves around you. But the first thing, of course, I always have to say this, that you love. That should be common sense, but some people just assume that, you know, when I say stuff like that, the people that want it are just looking for compliments. No, of course, you have to wear what you enjoy, but even if you don't enjoy it as much, when other people around you are enjoying the fragrance and you're realizing, okay, this is getting a lot of really good positive attention, it's still worth it to keep it in your collection, because when you're socializing, when you're doing this and that, it's a dumb reach sort of fragrance. As long as it doesn't make you nauseous or sick or you really hate it, then I think that it's worth giving it a shot. And my opinion on this fragrance has changed. Before I used to think it was okay, but now I really, really love this scent. And I wore it actually to Disneyland the other day. Smelled so good, dude. I smelled fantastic with this fragrance. As far as performance goes, this one lasts over 6 to 7 hours on me, noticeably. Like within that time frame, I'm smelling Lafayette Street. And then after that, it comes more in waves. And I'll still notice it, but it's just not as prominent as those, 6 to 7 hours. But really, really good fragrance. Massive compliment getter right here. In the springtime, it's just such a no-brainer. Bond 9 is an amazing house with the things that I've smelled so far. A lot of people love them. Very well received by the general public. The next fragrance I'm going to mention is Aventus Cologne. Now, a lot of people like the OG. You hear more about the regular Aventus, but for me, if I were to recommend a masculine creed fragrance between the OG and the Cologne, I would say go for the Cologne. Because it lacks that smoky base that the original has. And if you like the smokiness, then go for the original. That's what I'm going to say. Go for the original. But the Aventus Cologne has the mass appeal to it that sometimes, when you want a simple fragrance, it's going to deliver. And what's interesting, I made a video a while back about, this was based on DMs that I was getting from my subscribers, from my followers, saying that they blind bought the original Aventus because they were hearing online that, oh, it's this panty dropper, all this sort of stuff. But they were confused because when they got it and when they were wearing it, yes, they liked it, which is, of course, very important. That's number one. But they were only getting compliments from other guys at the gym or just other guys in general. So they were like, what's going on over here? So that's what I've always said, is that if you're looking for the quote unquote panty dropper, I would say go for the Cologne. If you're looking for the boxer dropper, you go for the OG, So a lot of women really, really love this scent. It's such a crowd pleaser. And again, many people are not wearing niche fragrances. They don't even know about niche fragrances. So be cautious, because if you look up this fragrance, you're probably going to see a lot of negativity with people online saying that it's basic, it's boring, it's nothing special. But I feel that, a lot of people making those sort of reviews and those remarks, a lot of the times, they are really into the fragrance niche. So they really like to experiment with bold fragrances that the general public really doesn't mess with, that might kind of smell a bit barnyardish, but because they're so, their noses are so advanced, it's more, they like the more challenging stuff. All right. Most people like the simple things, and you got to enjoy the simple things. So Creed Aventus Cologne absolutely has to be in this list. The next fragrance I'm going to mention is Sedley. Now, Sedley to me is more of a summertime fragrance, but it works really well in the spring. And the great thing about summer fragrances is that they will always work in the spring really well. It will never feel out of place. I think out of all the seasons, if you were to wear a summer fragrance year round, it would work the best. Now, would it perform the best? No, it wouldn't, but it would never smell off-putting in any situation. So Sedley smells like sexy Sprite. Let's just keep it real. You will smell like, yes, the soda. Sprite the soda. That's what you're going to smell like with this fragrance. Performance is pretty good though with Sedley. With Sedley, I do like Lafayette Street, get about 6 to 7 noticeable hours, but it pushes farther. I mean, it pushes farther, projects better, but it also lasts longer. If you were to apply this on skin and on clothes, you're going to notice that even at that 10-hour mark, you're still going to be smelling Sedley on you. It has really good performance for a fresh fragrance, and the best way I could describe it is an effortlessly sexy soda, Sprite, bubbly fragrance. Keep it short, keep it simple. Sedley, my favorite masculine Parfums de Marly fragrance to wear. The next scent is Salt and Pepper by Precious Liquid. Y'all already know this fragrance was out of stock for 3 weeks. It was sold out. And people were asking me like, what's going on? I can't get it. It's been sold out for 2 weeks. It's been sold out for 3 weeks, but it just got restocked, I think, this past week or so. So for all of you looking at this scent, it's an opportune time to do so for it. But I mean, how long do I have to rave about Salt and Pepper? Because y'all hear me talk about this at least once or twice a month already. But it's peppery, it has ambroxan in it, and this is just the type of fragrance you wear when you want compliments from women. If you have come to the decision that, screw it, I don't want any compliments from guys, I want compliments specifically from women. Because you're attracted to women, you want compliments from women, this is just the fragrance that you get. To the masculine nose, this is probably not going to be anything special to you, especially at first. You'll spray it on yourself, not really get it. That's what happened to me. Within the first 10 minutes, I could care less about this fragrance. Just thought it was your typical masculine scent. Modern, fresh, and just it had a little bit of that, that ambroxan blue fragrance vibe, right? But as it started to settle on my skin after that 10-minute mark, the sex appeal of the fragrance definitely started to shine through. And I was like, ooh, this is something, you know what I mean? And the person I was with at the time was really adamant about Salt and Pepper and she was like, just let it sit on your skin. Call me back in like 10. And it was perfect because I was at Subway. So I was like, all right, I'll call you back after I get my sandwich and my cookies from Subway. All right. So I did that. And the second I FaceTimed her, she was already smirking because she knew. And I had that look on my face that was like, you're right, without even saying any words yet. And she's like, I told you, huh? And I was like, yeah, no, it's a really good fragrance. So super, super sexy to the feminine nose. Again, if you don't hang out with women, don't get this fragrance. It's very point blank, period, simple. All right. Next fragrance I'm going to recommend is the one EDT Dolce Gabbana. This has been a stunner for me as well. I wore this yesterday to a wedding. So good. I love this way more than I love the EDP or than I like the EDP. EDP is okay. I'll still recommend it to y'all. I blind bought that one a while ago because I heard that the performance here wasn't good. Just get the EDP. Even though the EDP doesn't perform as well, might as well just get that one. And this is the very reason why whenever people say, oh, you don't just buy the Parfum or the EDP, the EDTs are useless. I'm like, no. It really depends, and this is the crazy thing. It depends on the brand, on I don't know, the formulation of the fragrances, because the EDT on me lasts longer. I get over 8 hours of performance with this fragrance. Is it pushing? No, it's not. It's very intimate, very close to the skin. It's a come closer fragrance, all right? People will smell it on you. Then it's the type of scent you wear when you're cuddling. If you're having any sort of one-on-one interaction with somebody you're attracted to, you pull out something like the one EDT. I love it way better than the EDP. I find it to be much better balanced. I think it works better in warm weather as well, and it can work in the nighttime. Now, is this a summertime fragrance? No, because again, this is a spring video, but it's an effortlessly sexy fragrance as well. truly. Now, this one, I believe it's like a basil-y fragrance. There's also some ginger. There's lavender to kind of give it that freshness as well. And then some like amber and some tobacco. Now, tobacco is listed, but I don't get any tobacco off of my skin when I wear this. At least I don't notice it at all. So just kind of keep that in mind. Different notes will play out on different people. But yeah, I wore this to a wedding yesterday. I got a compliment on this fragrance. Actually, I did, I think, over 8 sprays of this scent. And it didn't get me nauseated. It didn't make me feel like, oh, this is way too much. And I was like taking my nose away from like my dress and my coat. It was perfectly fine. And that's different. With the EDP, it was easier for me to get annoyed with it and to be like, oh man, even if I overspray this, it's not worth it. But with this, me doing over like 8 sprays, perfectly fine. Really good fragrance. Again, sensual, sexy. And also, I feel like this would work well in professional settings as like too. You know what I mean? This is the type of scent that everybody's work crush would wear. Like if everybody was crushing on the same person at work, like you're the eye candy, that's what you wear. If you're that person on the job, then you're probably wearing the one EDT. It doesn't have to try hard because it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't need the reach, it doesn't need the projection, it doesn't need the scent trail, because it knows when you smell it, you're already going to be hooked and you're going to keep wanting to come back from where it's like reeling it in. And I got this fragrance as a tester for $39 for like the 100 ml. Really, really, really good price. So I would check this one out for y'all. Like honestly, under $50 for this is really good. Really, really good. A no-brainer to have in your collection. The next fragrance I'm going to mention is Creed Silver Mountain Water. Silver Mountain Water is crisp. It's unique. Also another professional fragrance, but smells very good in the springtime. When I say crisp, it's like, have you ever been, if you're somebody that lives in the city, right? And there's always like kind of pollution around or whatever, right? And you go to the mountains and you're hiking, and then there's just a lot of trees around you, and you just take, and you're going in on a morning hike, right? So it's a little bit chilly, and then you just take a deep like breath through your nose, and it just hits, and you're like, this is crisp, like this air is crisp, and you can't get enough of it, and your body just feels so good when you're in that atmosphere. That's kind of what I feel with Silver Mountain Water when I say that it's crisp. Now, to me, this definitely gives me hiking vibes, but more so to the fact that if you were to go on a hike and let's say you were hiking to see a waterfall and you get to that waterfall, you took your pictures, you're admiring it now, you're just sitting there on the ground, whether it's the grass, all you hear is nature. And like you're surrounded by the trees, and like the light is just, the sun's like, the beams are pouring in through, and you could just see it through the leaves and stuff like that. That's the type of vibe I get with Silver Mountain Water. It's relaxed, it smells like you're by a waterfall, it's clean, and it's different. It truly is different in a world where right now a lot of people wearing masculine fragrances smell pretty similar with that sauvage type of DNA. This for sure is the sort of standout. And it's a scent that I feel wouldn't get outdated. Like if you were to buy this for your kid or something in the future and they were to wear this as a grown adult, I don't think anybody would go, oh my gosh, wow, that smells like, I don't know, a grandpa fragrance, you know? Or like that person smells like a grandpa, that's what I should say. That's better. Yeah, it's just, it smells like a grown person that has their shit together. Really. And what is not attractive about that? Absolutely nothing. Nobody's ever going to be like, oh, I hate it when people have their shit together. I like when they don't have it together. The only type of people that would talk like that are insecure people that want to feel above their partner or something, so they want to put them down in that way. But I mean, I guess if that's what you like, but I don't like that. Anyways, next fragrance, Oudwood Tom Ford. I've worn this similarly to how I've worn Lenu Delom, where everyone said it's a nighttime fragrance. How dare you wear it? Blah 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 blah. And then like in the night, in the daytime, I got a lot of heat for wearing Oudwood on the internet, like you would not believe. And did I give a single shit out of all those comments? No, I didn't. I still continued to wear this when I was wearing a white t-shirt and it was 75 degrees outside. And I got a compliment when I was doing it like a quick Target return. These 3 girls, I passed by them and they were like, oh my God, you smell really good. I said, thank you so much. It's as easy as that. So Oudwood doesn't smell like oud. It's not, I don't find it to be polarizing. I do find it to be unique, but still very mass appealing. Smells just like clean wood. Yeah, if you want the lovable woody scent, then you just go for something like Oudwood and you'll get what you want. All right, lastly, it's a Drop A Man Sarah. I'm always debating whether or not to put this on the list because I know there's been a reformulation of it and I've tried the reformulation. And so Drop A, this one lasted, like whenever I would spray it, I would do maybe 3 sprays. It would last over 12 hours, over a day on me. Let's just keep it real, right? Now with the newer formulation, everybody hates on the performance of it. But when you think of it in hindsight, 6 to 7 hours of a fresh fragrance really isn't that bad. Like, was it when, of course, when you already know that the OG lasts super long, then when you cut that in half or even cut that in a third, you're like, oh man, the performance is poor. It's a fresh fragrance, only lasts 6 hours. A lot of freshes only last 3 hours, sometimes 2 hours, sometimes, 4 hours. 3 to 5 hours is kind of that benchmark for it. So that's why I say, if you want to Drop A, they do have an intense version that I haven't tried yet, but for all of you worried about performance, I would just say go straight to the intense. A lot of people love the intense. But the Drop A is a bergamot fragrance that has a woody base in the dry down. It also has black currant in the opening as well, so it has that fruity, fresh, citrusy vibe in the opening, and then as it dries down, the woody notes really start to come in, and makes the fragrance pretty masculine. And it's a very sexy scent that elicits really good responses. I got a compliment on this fragrance when I was picking up pizza from, I think it was Little Caesars. Very interesting. And it's funny, when I mentioned that, some people in my comment section saying that they were at, I don't know which fast food joints, but it was just like a train of comments that are like, I got complimented when I was at Domino's. I got complimented when I was at, like, I don't know, like McDonald's or something. So it's like a fast food winner. So if you work in a fast food joint, like wear something like to Drop A. And it's seriously, it's so lovable. It's so nice. And again, very unique. When I say very unique, remember I am talking about everybody. I'm not talking about the fragrance community that knows Mancera. I'm talking about your average person that you're going to encounter. If you were to ever say, hey, have you heard about the niche fragrance house Mancera? They're going to go, what are you talking about? Is that something you can find at Dior? Is that a Gucci scent? It does not process. People do not know niche fragrances. So when you step out wearing something that is very lovable, very sexy, gets a lot of compliments, your average person is going to be very, very happy about that. All right. So if you do want to smell super unique that no one has ever smelled this barnyardish before, then of course this is not going to be your fragrance. But if you want to stand out in comparison to people around you just wearing your typical, Dior Sauvage, Bleu de Chanel fragrances, which still smell good, by the way. I'm not hating on those scents, but they are just more commonly smelled. If you want that uniqueness, wearing something like to Drop A will make you stand out. I promise. I feel like, not even I feel like, I know it. When I've been in situations, especially when like groups of guys pass by, it's always hitting with Sauvage. It's Sauvage all the time. So if you're in your friend group or whatever, you're going out, you want to have a good time, and your guys are wearing like the Bleu de Chanel's, the Dior Sauvage, and you step out with something like to Drop A, you're going to smell fantastic. And you will smell different. You will not smell another guy at that club, that bar, that party that is also going to be wearing to Drop A. They will not, again, they don't know it like that. So again, y'all, these fragrances are in the sale that's running right now. up to 79% off retail price. I will have that pinned in the comment section below along with the extra 10% off discount code if you want to utilize that. So I appreciate the love and support, but please do what you want, do what makes you the most comfortable, and also let me know and let everyone else know in the comment section what your go-to springtime fragrance rotation is. All right, I hope y'all have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.